Welcome to Crypto Pulsar's channel. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's latest market structure. First, let's look at Bitcoin on the daily chart. From the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin has been almost entirely declining this week. There was a rebound. But in fact, we can observe that if we treat this area as a consolidation range, price fell to the middle section of this range, then received a certain level of support. And then a rebound appeared. So this is the current feeling on the daily time frame for Bitcoin. That is to say, it seems that the mid-range still has a certain level of support. Now, if we look at a smaller time frame, it may become even clearer. This is the 1 hour time frame. From the 1 hour chart, we can see that it first broke upward, but this was proven to be a false breakout, then fell back down again. After falling back, it made a false breakdown of the previous low. We can see that it swept below the prior lows, meaning that all the stop losses of those who went long in this area were completely taken out. After triggering those stop losses, it broke upward once again. So when it broke the trend line the second time, it can be considered a real breakout. And now it continues to move upward. Personally, I still maintain the view that it is currently within a consolidation range. And at the moment, it is finding support in the middle section of this range. If price moves toward the upper boundary of this consolidation range and forms a false breakout, then falls back down, I believe there would be a relatively good shorting opportunity there. This would be a short-term short opportunity, because if it drops from above 70,000 to around 60,000, that is a move of over $10,000. It may not be extremely large, but it is still a decent range, right? If we short after such a setup, I would think that once it comes back down, we should still take profits, because I believe it may continue to consolidate for quite a long period of time. All right, this is our broader plan. Now, if we look at an even smaller and more detailed structure, we can notice that here, it seems to have formed a slight shaped pattern with a marginal break of the bottom. If this area can hold, I think there is a possibility that it may challenge the previous highs in this region and the highs in this area. I regard as the relative high formed after the sharp drop. If price reaches this zone, I believe it will take out the stop losses of those who shorted in this area, so you can set an alert here. If it really reaches this level and then falls back down, that would be a very clear entry timing. Because from the larger trend perspective, I believe the weekly time frame is still in a downtrend, and the daily time frame has entered a relatively long consolidation phase, and if price consolidates near the upper range, but does not have the ability to break the previous highs. Instead, it makes a breakout above the prior high and then quickly falls back, which is a typical stop hunting behavior. Then I would consider that it may continue to consolidate. Within such a consolidation range for us, this would provide relatively good short-term trend-following short trade opportunities. All right, this is Bitcoin's very clear trading plan for today, and we also know what kind of levels we should be waiting for. All right, that concludes today's market analysis. I hope it is helpful to you. That's all for today's update, and we will see you in the next episode. Goodbye, my friends. Bye-bye.